Let's hope everything works. Welcome. Let's see. We are live on both Playback TV and YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. So, welcome everyone. Bear with me on the non playback streams as we will be getting a game cast going. But if you have cable access and would like to watch the game live with us, you can do so at playback.tv/bite size sports. You can come hang out in the chat. I will be reading chats from everywhere, so have no fear. If you are not able to join us on playback, we will still be able to hang out and chat with each other. And hopefully, we'll definitely be here through the end of the Milwaukee Miami game, and we should be here. We may fire up a new stream, but we will watch at least the first quarter, if not the entire first half of the Lakers game tonight, the Grizzlies Lakers game. So here we go. First comment we have is from Nate. Besides the Bucks, here is his parlay. Ja Morant at the over on 28.5 points. Anthony Davis over 24.5. D'Angelo Russell over 5.5 assists, and Ja Morant over 7.5 assists. I like your parlay, Nate. I think that could hit. I I don't have much of a weak link there. I guess if I have one question mark there, it would be Anthony Davis at the over 24.5. What do you guys think? Besides the Bucks, it is Ja Morant 28.5 points over, Anthony Davis over 24.5 points, and D'Angelo Russell over 5.5 assists, with Ja Morant over 7.5 assists. I think the last parlay Nate had, did you end up missing that one because LeBron didn't get the 6 assists? Let me know. It was another good one, and I think that was the only. Yep, he said. Yep, he missed it because LeBron's assist. That is unfortunate, sir. Let's see. Let me know if any of you have any parlays. That's the only leg that didn't make it, Nate says. We are live on 4 platforms, so let me know what you're thinking tonight. Do you think Miami's going to come back here and win this one, or will Milwaukee even the series? Get your predictions in now. As far as I know, the Lakers are still 4.5 points favorite for the 4.5 point favorites for the 10 p.m. tip off. So let us know if you think the Grizzlies will at least cover the spread. While I get us fired up here, get the game cast ready for our friends over on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And soon we'll get that playback TV link on the screen for you in case you forgot. But I want to hear from you. Let me know what predictions you have. We can talk about stuff that we don't have to just talk about the NBA while we're here, by the way, folks. That is why on our YouTube platforms, you won't see this listed as a The Bounce episode. So we can talk Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. We can talk how the hell are the Rays? What are they, 18-3 right now? What's going on there? The Cubs are surprising me with the winning record. The Pirates are surprising everyone. We can keep talking NASCAR, although Nate's going to have to carry me through some of that. Hell, we can talk about the upcoming NFL draft, for which Bite Size Sports will have a stream on Thursday. We're going to have as many of our great content creators as are available to come join us. And hopefully we even have some bonus content later in the weekend. I believe we're going to have a correspondent there live at the NFL draft. How cool is that? You don't want to miss it. Make sure you're subscribed. Nate says that Kyle Busch won this weekend at Talladega. Excuse me, folks at home. Let me make sure. Yes, I've been live on YouTube for over 3 minutes, so I can say this without any negative impact to our future monetization. So say it with me, Nate. Fuck Kyle Busch. Sorry, I legally obligated to drink a beer after I say that. Oh, it's so good to be back, folks. I have missed you all. 3-day hiatus I had a great time while away, but it is so good to be back. 11-point game here. Let us know. Uh-oh. Okay. My stream started getting slow here. I might be overloading. Let's see. See if we can't get this game cast going. Gonna run around and turn off everything else in this house that uses internet. Should open up a donation link, get us a nice MacBook for streaming, or probably a real desktop. Bite size GoFundMe. Ooh, Kyle Lowry gets the members bounce. Trevor asks, have we talked much about the late game? Lake Show take a 3-1 lead. So we talked about it a little bit earlier. I interesting with the 4.5 point favorites with LA. I believe what we've seen. Let's see. I'm gonna roll up here. I think Nate picked the Grizzlies, and I am leaning Grizzlies, honestly, Trevor. I won't put it past the Lakers. I'm not saying that it can't go 3-1. I have a feeling for some reason um, that this one's going to go to 7. I think this is going to be a 2-2 game after this one. Ooh, Drew Holiday, almost. That would have been a big one. Would have put him up, what, 16 right there. It's a big miss for Miami. What do you guys think, though? Trevor, what do you think? Is it going to go to 3-1? Nate says, I think the Grizz will right the ship. Maybe Dylan Brooks enjoyed his humble pie last game. Well, that's another point we can ask about. What about uh, didn't Dylan Brooks get away with a shot to LeBron where there was no suspension? Now that happened the last time we went live for the episode of The Bounce. There was some crazy suspensions and or not suspensions but ejections in the Philly Nets game. That game got wild. Um, so yeah, Nate says there was no suspension. He got a foul. So yeah, that was my understanding too, but that there was no action afterward. That it was just kind of something he got away with. But eh, I'm certain with just the sheer number of extracurriculars that have happened with these flagrants and ejections and technicals that I bet the NBA takes a look at this. I'm sure that they don't like this look for. I mean, there's some great storylines here, but at the end of the day, you want the best players on the court. So you got to find ways to quite honestly get these refs in their lane and help them understand that the offense has to be incredibly egregious for you to be kicking players out of a playoff game. Believe it or not, most people are not paying money to see the guys in the black dress pants run up and down the court. It's actually the players that should be deciding all of this. But who I'm preaching to or from the choir. I never know how that saying goes. Let me know in the chat the right way to say it. I would love to know. Trevor asks, is Ja fully healthy? I think that makes a big difference. I think you are right, and I am going to check that out actually. Let's pull up that game cast. But first on YouTube, let me get a screen share going so we can share at least the score. Let's see if I can get past some of these ads. There we go. All right. Wonderful. So bear with us on the streams there. Again, you can watch on Playback TV dot bite size sports dot size sports. And here we go. I'm going to put that on the screen going forward. So hope to see some of you that are currently watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Hope to see you here on Playback TV. Please let me know, guys, if you could. Those of you on Playback or anywhere, let me know if at any point it gets too laggy, and then I will make some changes here. So hopefully the stream looks well for everyone. Looks good for everyone. It's a little choppy on my end. That's the only reason I'm saying anything, but I can live with it so long as you all can see everything that's going on. Not a big deal for me. Ooh, a little run here from Miami. Oh, but what's unfortunate for me is the ESPN feed is actually ahead of my playback feed, so I know what's about to happen here. Don't worry, I won't ruin it for you. We will focus up on Giannis' little pick and roll action. Look at that. Everyone stays home, and it just does not matter. Cody Zeller, who Nate had some kind words for earlier in chat, could do nothing. Ooh, Jimmy needed that one, but he does not get it. I mean, it's not going to be his fault if they don't win. We all know that. Let's see. Nate says, I don't know. I went to Pacers games a few years ago just to see Raheem Christmas. Nice. I mean, those tickets were probably pretty cheap, were they not? Let me know. Yep. He said, yep. Yes. He says they were cheap. Oh, let's see here. So we've got an 11-point lead going into the fourth. What is going to be the final spread here? Does anyone think Miami pulls this one out? I tend to think that Milwaukee is going to hold strong as we look at the by quarter scores here. Milwaukee has won every period, even if Miami makes a run here. I just expect that Milwaukee will hold on. And even this series, they're currently their win percentage for those of you on playback who can't see that stuff, it is currently at 93.2% in favor of the Bucks. So let me know. Are they wrong? We've seen some epic failures from the game predictors in the past with those high 90 percentile. So we do have some folks who have joined us over on the simul stream. So welcome to those of you watching on YouTube. We appreciate you. Feel free to leave a comment in the chat. We are cross streaming here. So I'm watching the game with some folks over on playback.tv/ bite size sports. So if you have a cable login, feel free to join us, watch the game with us there. However, I would love to still hang out with you and read your comments if you have them. We can hang out and watch the game cast and still talk NBA and all other sports. Let me get back here to the chat. I was looking into whether or not Ja was fully healthy. So let's go back to that now that we're in commercials. Let's see. Injury report. Ja is not on the injury report for today. So, notably, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Dennis Schroeder are all listed as doubtful as of yesterday. So, take that for what it's worth. To me, I don't think it's worth anything. I believe that they'll all three will play is my guess. I'm pretty sure LeBron's going to play. Nate, you might want to keep an eye on that Anthony Davis thing, though. Let me know if any of you have some parlays. I'm going to read Nate's over. So, hey, listen, this is all for fun. You cannot come after myself nor anyone in chat should you bet it all on their parlay and things go awry. All right. This is all good fun. We're going to hang out, talk some trash about each other's bets, but in this case, Nate has, I believe, the Bucks. Was it the Bucks covering the spread? And then, or maybe that wasn't part of the parlay. Let me know. But he has Morant at over 28.5 points, Anthony Davis over 24.5 points, which might be iffy if he's doubtful. Look out. D'Angelo Russell over 5.5 assists, and John Morant over 7.5 assists. So if you don't have any bets to lob in the chat, maybe give us your prediction for this series. Ooh, as I believe that was Grayson Allen knocking it down, 14-point lead again for Milwaukee. I have a feeling Miami's going to just chip away, get close, and then Milwaukee will just continue to keep them at arm's length. Kyle Lowry, nice floater. Gonna have to get some back on defense, though. See, this is dumb. I hate this. Can we talk about this for a second? No disrespect to Giannis, and for those of you watching on the other platforms, let me explain it. He did the whole thing where he just let the ball dribble all the way up, just let it bounce. I mean, up to about half court before he picked it up, which makes complete sense at the end of the period or in a clock management situation if you're trying to do a 2 for 1, something like that. There is no value when you're up 12 points with 11 minutes left in the game. Please tell me what the value is of not starting the clock as soon as possible. Are 24 seconds not, not enough to run your offense? It's a goofy thing that I don't understand where the modern NBA players pick that up from. It's almost like when you're a kid and you hear a cool new word you like and you hear it in context, so you don't really know how to you just start using it like you're Michael Scott. That's how this whole thing feels to me. It's like people saw it in late game moments, thought it would look really cool, like, "Oh, it's so cool when they do that," and now they just do it for no reason because it looks cool or something. I have no idea. Let me know in the chat if I'm a boomer and I make no sense, but for the life of me, wonderful play right there on the was it Connaughton? Yeah, they're Lopez or Connaughton, either one. Give them both their flowers. Was that a turnover? Oh god, yep. I think they're done, boys. Ship it. Let's see. Now would be a good time to mention that we have some streams coming up this week on our YouTube channel. You can see them as well on Facebook. Ooh, Pat Connaughton. Whoop. Oh, that might have been a backbreaker. And ooh, nice pump fake, nice finish from Vincent. But as I was saying, necessary roughness this Tuesday, that's tomorrow, 9 p.m., 8 Eastern. The bounce this week will actually be on Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, because we are going to be live streaming the NFL draft right here on our playback channel while simul streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So we hope to see you there. Tons of content. We have 2 to 3 shows every week live. Be sure to check it out. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. You can also follow us on Twitter at Bite Size Sports. Let's see. What was the call there? Nate says, I think you're in trouble when 2023 Cody Zeller is playing a good chunk of minutes. Well, I mean, yeah, that's that's valid. In this scenario, he's the they got okay, yeah, Bam's back in. Like you gotta give Bam a breather now and then. Yeah, Jimmy's got third. Oh, they missed Brook there. Although it would have been a difficult entry pass where he was at with the rim. Oh, what a great pass. Ooh. Ooh. Triple double from Giannis out here padding his stats. Let's see. Forgive me, fellas. I may have some of my editing duties at the last word on sports where we cover not only the NBA but college hoops. I may have to do something real quick there, but we will stay here in live stream. But when duty calls, that's the life. It's the life of a sports editor and or writer. So by the way, although we don't have a editorial side at Bite Size Sports, I would love it if you do have interest in reading up on the NBA or college basketball. Please check out my dear friends at the Last Word on Sports. You can follow us on Twitter, Last Word on Basketball, where me and my friends write about things. I actually have an upcoming article on the renaissance of Brooke Lopez, the 2 careers, if you will, of that man. So let's see. All right. Lowry, nice spin move with the too hard off the rim. Nate says, I was just looking and the 2023 draft was legit awful, even with Giannis, Gobert, McCullum, and Oladipo. I think it's fair to he says kinda Oladipo. I think it's fair. Ooh, Brooke. Ooh, that mid-range would have got me excited, but it does not go down. Thank you to those watching. We got a few people watching now on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Come say hi. Leave us a comment. Be happy to join in on the conversation. We are also watching on Playback TV. So on Playback TV, Nate was just saying the 2013 draft was awful. And I think I was touching on the Victor Oladipo of it all. That guy is Brandon Roy levels of unlucky. I mean, he just continues to have these unfortunate injuries that set him back. Lest we forget, he was an all star at one point while healthy. Um, he's kind of remembered now for one of the biggest bag fumbles of all time because he didn't want to sign that extension with the Pacers. As a biased Pacers fan, I will say I am very thankful that he didn't want to take that deal, but I do think he's one of those what ifs, and we may never get to see him be healthy enough to know exactly what might have been. But I think you can count him as a quality player out of that draft. But then again, he was what fourth overall, so the injury. I mean, the injuries prevent me from saying anything along the lines of bust. But absolutely, you're not living up to your value, even if you aren't able to play. The best ability is availability. We know that one, right? Yes, shout out. Thank you to Justin Herbert on Facebook for the love. I see you and I appreciate you, sir. Feel free to jump in on a comment. There are some comments on Playback TV as well. So forgive me, everyone. You'll have me narrate your thoughts back and forth cross platforms, but it's still fun. We will, I would love to. What is going on with this Ruffles commercial? I don't know. LeBron going at Charles Barkley. I like it. Nate says the draft had arguably the worst number one pick of all time. Who was the number one pick in the 2013 NBA draft? Nate will tell us here in a moment, but let me know. Oh, let's see. Facebook, YouTube chat. Feel free to let me know if you remember the 2013 NBA draft number one pick overall. Might be, and I'm sorry to use this term, but this might be a legitimate bust, one of the all-time busts. All right, we'll give it a minute or so, and we will give that answer. Although those, some of you know it already. Don't spoil it. But all right, it's Anthony Bennett, 2013 number one overall pick. Yeah, easy one to forget. What is your nominee? Does anyone else out there have a nominee for a worse draft than the 2013 class? I think Nate might be onto something. I'm scratching my head presently. It's easy to come up with some of the best draft classes. Well, even that's it's kind of hard to come up with the exact year. But like, what's the what was it? What year was it? '06? What was the Dwayne Wade, Lamelo? Was it the is that also the LeBron, the Darko Milicic draft class? I remember that ESPN, the magazine, the he's number two. Cover article for Darko Milicic. You can also throw me your candidates for best draft bust or best draft steal. We can get all over the place with this draft if you want. Or also we can talk NFL draft. And I know since we have our dear friend Justin watching over on Facebook, we can probably at some point talk about the Sixers and their prospects going into the second round. I hear that Embiid is going to maybe be about 50% by the time that series starts. Now, the longer the first round goes, the better that goes for him. But it'll be interesting to see how long they'll have to play without a full strength Embiid and if they'll get a full shot. Now, I do know, um, as Justin was saying, that they'll have a good chance to make a run. He's looking at potentially the Sixers Boston series. I think that will be great. He name dropped the likes of Dr. J and Larry Bird. It will be a nice. The NBA historian in me loves a potential Sixers Celtics playoff matchup. We got a comment on here. Hey, there he is. Justin says the best draft steal for the NBA draft. Ooh, Tyrese Maxey. I do love. Hey, that guy is an absolute stud. I'm enjoying watching him flourish and grow. He's shown flashes and kind of exponential growth over the last couple years, and I think he really is turning into a star in this league. Ooh, ain't nobody talking to you. Sorry, I gotta ditch my intrusive watch. They calling that a jump ball? I feel like Jimmy's got possession on that one. Yeah, give that one to Jimmy, man. Oh yeah. What? Wait. Oh, yeah, call timeout, I guess. I guess the jump ball is fair. I guess the junk ball is all right. What do you guys think? I'm watching a FanDuel ad, so you tell me. What do you prefer, FanDuel or DraftKings? This is not sponsored, so I can repeat whatever you have to say. I got no skin in this game. I will say I use FanDuel more, but it's not really a matter of preference. When gambling first came to Ohio, I did whatever little entry bonuses both of them had, whatever your free 50 bucks here or there, and I just happened to win more on FanDuel, so I've had money there. So, that's just where I've played. Now, Trevor on YouTube, shout out, says, FanDuel all day, and I definitely have had some fun doing some daily drafts with Trevor on FanDuel, absolutely, and again, I know I mentioned this previously, another damn fantasy podcast, but that is the place to go for your fantasy advice. You can check out Trevor and Dan and see what they have to say. Gonna be a lot of content coming up, I'm sure, after the upcoming NFL draft. Nate says, "Not that damn Ohio betting app, that's for sure." Do you remember what it was called, Nate? I think it was it like Bet365? I almost wanna let the people know. Yeah, he says Bet365, I think. Yeah. Be on the lookout, people, for Bet365. Nate had a very bad experience with it. Wasn't able to really, place the bet. I don't think he knew it was an Ohio only thing either. So then that got complicated. I mean, it worked out for me because I got a visitor out of it. Oh, let's see. We've got a comment here about the Sixers. Let's see. Justin on Facebook says Embiid is always hurt. He's gonna be okay, but definitely the winner of this series will come out of the East. Okay. And then yes, FanDuel. Yep, he's a FanDuel guy. And Mike Mayer coming to the Chargers. I like that. I'm a Notre Dame guy. Some of you out there know that. And interestingly enough, in our bite size mock draft, we had Michael Mayer somehow slide all the way out of the first round. You guys should definitely check that out. It's on our YouTube channel right now. And if you don't have time to watch the entire stream with us, you can check out the wonderful edit that Trevor put together. He takes the entire draft, gets it down to about 6 minutes. So you can get all of our analysis and all of our picks in a fraction of the time. Well, because we are bite sized sports after all. So, much appreciation to you, Trevor. And guys, yeah, please go check that out. Welcome to the viewers on YouTube and Facebook. I appreciate you very much. Feel free to hop in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. There's 6.5 minutes left. Milwaukee holding on to a 9-point lead. Giannis suffered a scary fall earlier, but he seems to be all right. And Jimmy Butler has gone full Greg Jennings mode, putting the team on his back. And speaking of backs, Martin somehow just fouled Connaughton with his. So that is unfortunate. Now I'm probably going to be a double-digit lead here for Milwaukee with 6.5 minutes. So get your predictions in, folks. We got a bunch of new viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be watching the 10 o'clock game as well. So let me know what you think. Lakers, Grizzlies, 4.5 point favorites are the hometown Lakers. Will they answer that? Will they take the 3-1 lead? We've had a bit of a back and forth throughout the episode. Got some folks saying Grizzlies. I actually don't think I've seen anyone come out and say the Lakers. Maybe I think Trevor said the Lakers 3-1. But a lot of it depends on the health of not only Ja Morant, but apparently Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Dennis Schroeder, who were all listed doubtful as of yesterday. But I am very doubtful that we don't see all three of them. Ooh, another turnover. Yikes. Back to back turnovers when you absolutely don't need them. This is not Pat Riley slash Miami Heat basketball. Oh, what? Okay. When you see an alley oop like that, where Brooke Lopez catches it with his back to the basket and kind of granny shots it over his head, it's just not your night, I think, at that point. You're down 12 with 6 minutes. Ooh. And Kyle Lowry hits that deep three when it doesn't count. Great pass from Giannis. Like, no knock, but Duncan Robinson couldn't do much more to defend that. Uh, Brooke Lopez is turning back the clock with these plays at the rim tonight. It just might not be your night, Miami. Might not be their night. But Giannis again hobbling. That's not good. That's where the last win from Miami, that shellacking without Giannis, that's where that really comes into play because you'd like to. They're only in a 2-2 series, so they can't even look into the idea of sitting Giannis for a game. They can't afford that. Could go down 3-2 in this series if they do that. I do love it, and we mentioned it earlier, so forgive me for those of you who have been here from the beginning, but I do love how the Bucks have just been consistently saying, "We're gonna make you pay if you put a small guy on Brooke Lopez. You're not gonna put Jimmy Butler on Brooke Lopez and get away with it." They just continue to feed Brooke Lopez in the paint like it's 2011 and he's playing in New Jersey. It's been a lot of fun to watch, quite honestly, because we're so used to him just being a three guy who blocks shots. Ooh, and we love the mid range jumper from Jimmy Butler. 8 point game. He's not done yet. The Heat will not quit. There's 40. We got 40. Look out. 5 minutes left. I might get my 50 piece. Ooh, Pat Connaughton. Guys, we jinxed him, I think. I don't think Pat Connaughton has done well, he has done one good thing since we said nice things about him. Oh, I can't believe he didn't pull that. Martin should have shot that three. That's my humble opinion. Oh, there's another one from Jimmy. Is that an and one? Ooh, ooh. Wow. Oh, let's see. We've got another comment here. I'm going to read from Facebook. Let's see. Justin says Grizz in 7. Oh, and then back to some NFL talk here. Let's see. I like this. Got wide receiver Addison out of USC. Oh, yeah. Zay Flowers. Oh, everybody loves some Bijan Robinson. Yep. Jimmy knocks down the free throw as well. Let's see. Bijan Robinson, Texas. And yeah, now it's talking about Brooklyn. Yeah. Giannis, I think. Oh, I see. Looking ahead. Giannis is going to be too hurt. Winner of the series coming out of the East. Yep. Nick, yeah, that's what he's saying right here. So Justin is saying the winner of the Sixers Knicks series is gonna go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Oh, Martin on the turnover. Is that gonna be a charge? Was he inside the circle? Here come the Heat, Trevor says. Ooh, you know what, Nate? Thank you for calling this out on playback. He says, "You know what I've noticed? Moving screens don't get called nearly enough. Thank you, retweet, shout it from the mountaintops, chisel it in stone, so that way when we're long gone, everyone knows it's the truth." We do not call them. Go back and watch some of the NBA Finals highlights, and watch Draymond Green set moving screens where he's actively pushing 3 Boston Celtics while Steph Curry gets open for a 3. I think it's the worst the worst part about NBA officiating. It's the worst no call of all of any consistent. It's even worse than the offensive hooking where they are able to draw defensive fouls when it's clearly an offensive foul upon the. I mean that's at least a little bit harder. The moving screens. It's the only reason, in my opinion, that that can happen is because the refs are watching the ball instead of doing their job and watching the part of the action that they're supposed to be watching to call for fouls. Because we can see it obviously from our television. A guy who's getting paid to watch that should easily be able to see it. And the NBA claims to have been working to crack down on it, and they have called it more, but they still don't call it enough. Winner okay, sorry, I misread it earlier, Justin saying winner of Celtic yeah, so he thinks it's gonna be the, Sixers or the Celtics coming out of the East. Let me know what you guys think. Ooh, wow, almost a tie there. This is getting crazy. Jimmy Butler gets the ball back. We got some chat to catch up on here, but first we got a tie ball game. What is going on? Wow. Oh, it's a one-point game. I thought was that not a 3 was his foot on the line? Doesn't matter because there's a turnover and Jimmy's gonna get a bucket. Was there no foul there at half court? What did you guys see? I didn't get to see. It was it was pretty chaotic there. Wow. We were just saying it was over. That's oh man, I wish James was here, my bounce co-host. He would say the curse of Kev strikes again. Man, see, I feel bad for Michael. Michael, are you here on playback? I'm so sorry if you are. Oh, he wanted me to do this, guys. He wanted me to watch the Bucks game on playback, and I jinxed his team, and now they're down. I'm so sorry. But I appreciate all of you who have joined us so far. It's been a lot of fun to get back in the swing of it here. Very excited for the upcoming week. Lots of big time streams coming to Bite Size Sports. So again, we would love it if you could subscribe, turn those notifications on, follow us on Twitter or Facebook, and that way you can be made aware of any time we are live. And also, you should join the Discord. I don't think I have the link ready. I apologize. I will get that in the chat, or if any of our bite-sized friends who are in the chat wouldn't mind doing me a favor and throwing the Discord invite out, that would be fantastic because we would love for all of you who hang out with us in this chat to come hang out with us on Discord. It's the party never stops. Thank you, Trevor. Much appreciated for the Discord link. I'm going to copy that and get it added here as a comment. So those of you watching us on our other platforms can also join the Discord. It's a really fun time. It's just like these streams, really, except it happens all day and, well, not necessarily all night, but someday soon when we're global, when we're international. BSSI. But yeah, you can come hang out, talk any major sport, football, basketball, baseball, combat sports, NASCAR. Giannis takes the lead back. All right, we are going to lock in here. We're in the final 3 minutes. Could take us about a half an hour, knowing the NBA schedule, but forgive me if I miss some chat. We are going to lock in. Ooh, Trevor said he slapped Bucks money line 150 so hard. Come on, baby. Come on. Fingers crossed. Oh, Justin, a Sixers fan, says never should have gotten rid of Jimmy Buckets, man. Yep. Absolutely. His prediction for Western Conference Finals is Nuggets, Warriors, and Sixers, Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I like those predictions. Get yours in if you have your own Western Conference and Eastern Conference Finals predictions. I'd love to share those with the group as well. Meanwhile, Jimmy's going for one. Ooh, left Martin open. He hesitates. Oh, gets the friendly roll. Wow. The look he thought about making the extra pass, was able to get a little bit of separation. Ooh, Drew Holiday with the step back three. Oh, that's filthy. That's the oh my god. Nate says Nuggets Kings for his Western Conference pick and Celtics Knicks. Okay, I a lot of Knicks energy. It's interesting. Oh no. Not on the same page, man. All right, Kyle, I get it. You're frustrated. You're the leader here. All right. I know you're expecting him to do something else, but you're the point guard. You're the leader, brother. Gotta reel it in. Can't be can't be screaming at the dude. You only got 2 minutes left to make up that mistake. Ooh. Ooh. That one gave me a shudder. If Chris Middleton had hit that, it would have been, as Trevor had put it, ice cold. We are in a absolute gunfight. Miami's ball. Okay. 2-point game, 2 minutes left. Absolute fantastic finish. I did not think we were going to get this when we were in that final coming into the fourth quarter. Remember that? Miami has what taken a 9-point lead in this quarter, right? Gets the foul. Ooh, Jimmy watch. Are we at 50? Ooh, we're getting there. You guys should have listened to me on that 50 piece. Let's see this foul. Oh, definitely. Jimmy Butler is a finalist for the Clutch Award, apparently. But in my opinion, it's De'Aaron Fox and then everybody else. What do you guys think, though? Who is it? Jimmy? Is it between just Jimmy and Darren? Is there anybody else you think should be a finalist or maybe should win the Clutch Player of the Year award? I will say it's my least favorite award of any award that they have, but ooh, got the game tied. Nate mentions, yeah, it should have been the Robert Ory Clutch Award, right? The Big Shot Bob Clutch Award. I'd retweet that. Oh, and they go back to the well. What have we been talking about all night? No size. They have no matchup for Brooke Lopez. So when the Bucks really need a basket, they run pick and roll with Giannis running the point so he can pass it over the top of Adebayo, and boom, it's just easy money. They have fed that. Giannis to Brooke Lopez has been there for them all night. But also Jimmy Butler's been there all night. And what's that? 49 big ones now. Told you. Oh man, the misfire. 1 minute left. Come on, Jimmy, give me 50. I wish I'd have bet on this. Oh my God. With no regard for human life. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, I won't repeat what he said, but he might be right. You may be right. Holy crap, this is crazy, guys. It might be 3-1 Miami. Do we think the Bucks will come back from this? Trevor's picks for Western Conference Finals, Suns Warriors. I like that. And Bucks Celtics. That was my pick coming in. And I'm holding on. I feel like Bon Jovi, man. I'm living on a prayer right now that Milwaukee doesn't let this one fall. I I do think that's not what he said. I like Reggie's edit. He said, "This is my house." Yeah, that's totally what he said. Oh man, the one time I get a bet right and I don't have any money on it. Well, not the one time, but the one time I'm live telling, I hope some of you guys jammed that 50 piece. Told you. No. Nate says Celtics versus Nuggets in the title in the final round. I like that. I wouldn't mind seeing that. There's about with my team out of the running, I just want the best matchups, the best stories. So there's a handful of finals matches I could get behind, and anything that includes the Nuggets would be good. Um, My personal favorite, just in the NBA historian in me, I would love to see a, Lakers Celtics final. I think they're tied with 17 or 18 titles each, and so I don't know. But I'm a nerd, and I know that a lot of people wouldn't like that. They'd be like, "Oh, that's boring. That's the same old shit." But you know, to each their own. Honestly, if the Sixers made the finals, I'd like that. Yeah, so Sixers, Bucks, or Celtics are the three teams I'd like to see make it out of the East that I think would be compelling. Wow, there goes that. After Miami turns the ball over all night, it's Milwaukee with the crucial turnover at the absolute worst time. Wow. And as Justin says, Bucks are done for sure. Wow, and he says Sixers Nuggets. Oh, that now see, and this is why I was saying what I was saying. There are so many potential finals matchups that I could get behind. And yeah, Jokic versus Embiid in a sevens best of seven for the chip. Yeah, sign me up, dude. I would watch that, especially if Jamal Murray stays healthy and we get to see both those teams to their full potential. I think that's very entertaining. It's insane to me that we might have to really be considering Milwaukee out after one round. I still think Milwaukee can come back 3-1. I mean, this is the deepest team in the NBA. If they come back healthy, like you never know. Don't count them out. We've seen it happen before. While this game seems to be over, nothing's finished here yet. But this is crazy. And out of the West, obviously, if I'm going 100% with my heart, just give me the Kings to go to the finals. But, realistically, I'd like to see the Nuggets or the Suns. I think it'd be cool. Kevin Durant, Chris Paul dynamic. Wow. I'm still kind of in shock with what's happened in this game. Nate says, Kendrick Perkins will be heated if that happens. That's funny. Oh, Justin says the Sixers would be gentlemen sweeping the seas. Oh, okay. And here it is, folks. This one's over. I mean, we're gonna have a foul. Maybe I spoke a little too soon. It's not quite over yet, but it's kind of over, don't you think? Let me know in the chat. We got a bunch of you guys here. Welcome. Thank you. Got people on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Hit us up in a comment. We will get you on screen. Let us know who you think is going to win this 10 p.m. game between the Grizzlies and the Lakers. We'll be switching over to that one soon. I think I'm just going to stay rolling right along. May have to take a break at some point, get a refill or something like that. But for the time being, we are going to roll right along into the 10 p.m. tip off. You just might have to bear with me while I respond to a couple text messages. Let's see. Love King Sixers, Justin says on Facebook. I would definitely love King Sixers. That would be nasty. Yes. Ooh, and I love the wrestling reference there, the Nasty Boys. I love that. Old school mark for wrestling right here. And I ain't afraid. I ain't ashamed of that. Trevor says, what a fourth quarter by the Heat. Absolutely. These guys were dead to water. There's tape. Like it's on. Unfortunately, I think I said that even after we went live on multiple platforms. So I'm dead to rights. I said coming into the fourth quarter that Milwaukee had won each of the last three quarters, and that while I thought Miami could make it close, I think I even said to, whatever the spread might be, to go ahead and bet that. But we did not, or at least I did not see this coming. And wow, just pedal to the metal. What is that, 16 points or 18 points? My screen is too small over there, but they have almost doubled Milwaukee in the fourth quarter. That's what's important. Insane. All right. So let me know in the chat who you've got. Does anyone think, let's go ahead, let's call it right now. It's about to be 3-1. Does anyone think Milwaukee is coming back? I want to see it in the chat if you do, or if you really think it's definitive that the Heat are done, or that the Heat have this thing locked up. Let us know in the chat. We're about to find out a few things here. Maybe we get a shot. Oh, Drew Hall, that's a difficult shot. Doesn't go down. Eagles gets a rebound. Okay. Oh, Drew can't hit it. That's gonna do it, right? Set off Milwaukee. A foul on the Heat. What? Oh, come on. They are just. Oh, what's gonna happen now? Ooh, let's see. Justin says he would love I low key would love Heat Sixers Eastern Conference Finals. That would be nasty. Jimmy would play. Yes, Jimmy would play his tail off in a Heat Sixers matchup. That I mean, see, there are so many good storylines this year. The playoffs would be hard pressed to disappoint me, particularly, no matter what goes down. Um, there's gonna be cool stories no matter what. Like, speaking of this 10 o'clock game, whether it's Memphis or LA, there's gonna be something to talk about in their second round matchup, whether you get the Kings lighting the beam or you get the Warriors somehow again, the dynasty on its last legs coming back. There's stuff all over this that it's honestly, it's one of the best times in my opinion, since I mean, there were years like this in the '90s where I thought, like, what a great time to be an NBA fan. I really think we're blessed right now. We have so many great teams, so many potential storylines. Here we go with Phoenix up here in we mentioned them already with the Chris Paul of it all and the Kevin Durant. And what's interesting about the Durant side of that is he's joining another team that's good enough. There's probably those people who still won't give him credit if he wins one with Phoenix because Devin Booker's there, Chris Paul is there, DeAndre Ayton's the forgotten man somehow. It's crazy. Max contract guy, by the way. Um, yeah, former Indiana Pacer. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, Justin. Yeah, you see it. It's there's almost a- any storyline you can come up with, like no matter what happens. Let's see. Sorry, what did he say? Unsuccessful challenge. All right. Milwaukee's going to get a chance to inch closer here. Nate says I might throw a couple of bucks on the Bucks to win the series. I like that. I don't know if the pun was intended, but we're giving that one a flame in the chat regardless. And Nate says I'll start giving him credit when he actually accepts the Slim Reaper as a nickname. That is a very good nickname. Hey, Lee is in the chat on YouTube. Thank you, Lee. Welcome. He said, "Yep, exactly. The Heat have a history of taking down the big boys. Good coaching. Yep." We talked about that a little bit earlier. How going into the playoffs, actually, we had some conversations about who were the teams most likely to win in an upset, and the Heat are often a very trendy pick because they've done this so often. They do have a history of just being a really well coached, hard fighting team, and then you've got playoff Jimmy. This guy comes out and gets 50 points on any given night in the playoffs, and what can you do? Justin hits me with the deep cut. Said the Sixers just signed Danny Granger so he can get a ring. That's a deep burn. That's although I would love it. Well, we'll cross streams into baseball for a second. Very few non-Arizona Diamondback fans were as happy as I was when Luis Gonzalez hit that single against the Yankees because my main man Mark Grace finally got his World Series ring. So I'm all about that. If I'm not a misery guy, hopefully he's into room one. Outside of I hate that team, so I'll root for the other team. No, no, Justin, I'm not a D-backs fan. I'm a Cubs fan, but I wanted my main man Mark Grace when he played for the Diamondbacks at the end of his career. I wanted him to win that championship over the Yankees. So, ooh, Brooke Lopez banks the three in. What is going on? It's never over. Just when I think we're out. They pull us back in. It's only worth 2 if you didn't call glass. At least that's how, that's how I would play it. Oh, should've been an and one, should've been a four-pointer. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Ooh, a Padres fan in the chat. That's right, that makes sense, that tracks. Makes sense. Yeah, see, it's never over. Gotta love it. I think it was Michael in our last Playback TV live stream who was like, "The last 10 seconds can take about 10 minutes." Why am I getting a Gardens of Galaxy trailer in the middle of this? Oh, as if on cue, it just disappears from the stream. That was cool. Magic. Oh, the missed free throw. Let's go. Get the foul. Reach. Oh, yeah, there's not gonna call that foul. And then Giannis falls on his back too, of all things, just to take it from bad to worse. Wow. Miami is up 3 games to 1. As Will Smith once said, there will be a party in the city where the heat is on tonight. And on that note, let's move over to the Memphis LA game. We're switching over to the Gamecast first on our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch streams. Thank you again for those of you now on 4 platforms today. I greatly appreciate it. Let us know what's going on in your world in the chat. We haven't got a chance to talk much about A-Rod to the Jets. It's popped up in chat a couple of times, and we need to come back to it. So next commercial break we get, we'll start talking about some NFL football. But Nate says I am unpatriotic for not wanting the Yankees to win that World Series. Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about when that happened, huh? Oh, just kidding. I hate the Yankees. I knew that. I knew that Nate hates the Yankees, but needed to make sure all of you at home knew it as well. All right, let's switch. Let's got to switch this over to the Memphis LA game. Oh, as much as I want to switch it to WWE Raw, that'd be, yeah, I could do that technically on Playback TV, but are they really? This is great. Now on NBA TV. What? Uh, just put the game on, you know? So that's funny. Well, give me a moment. I guess, hey, this will be a great time for those of you on Playback. If you need to go grab a snack, get a refill. So apparently they moved it over to NBA TV uh, uh, for the first couple of minutes, but I am told the game's going to be here in just a second. Here we go. There we go. Don't understand why it was more important to watch a Jimmy Butler interview than the start of this game with Memphis out to a 6-0 lead. Look at this. Will it be 9-0? Hmm. Nate says the Bucks odds to win the series are only plus 120. That's trash. Hmm. Maybe Vegas doesn't have a lot of confidence in Miami. I don't know about that one. Maybe keep an eye on that one, Nate. Maybe it will update here momentarily. Let us know if you see any big changes. If anybody else sees it as well. If the odds get good enough, I might throw a couple bucks on the Bucks. There, we did it again. Pun not intended. Lee says they already scored more than they scored the last game in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, we're getting some action going. Ooh. Let's look. None of our doubtful players are missing, by the way. It looks like I'm not seeing Schroeder on the side. Oh, yeah, there he is. Okay, yep. Everybody's playing. They hit him with the old Belichick doubtful. See, that's right. Justin said it. I was kind of thinking it as well. Vegas knows something we don't about Bucks, about that Bucks Miami series. Oh, I don't love those odds. All right, now that we're in the game, the Lakers were 4.5 point favorites. Think we had a couple folks picking the Grizzlies, but now we're here. Now Grizzlies off to a 7 point lead. Anybody change it? 7 point lead off to a 7-2 lead. Anybody having a change of heart yet? Dylan Brooks. Let me know your thoughts on Dylan Brooks in the chat. I do love a good villain, but I more than a good villain. I prefer the safety of all athletes. So uh, sometimes the Dylan Brookses and the Draymonds of the world can really rub me the wrong way. Because again, uh, I grew up in the era of trash talk. Two of my favorite players of all time are Larry Bird and Reggie Miller. I have no problem with anybody getting in anybody's face, talking trash, any of that stuff. But the dirty plays, the low blows, I feel, in my opinion, there's no place for that. At the end of the day, it is still a sport. It is a game. I'd prefer everybody to be able to get home to their families, all that good stuff. So uh, I'm not a huge fan. So let's see. Nate says that Dylan Brooks reminds him of Kayvon Thibodeau of the Giants. Oh, if you don't know who that is, that's the Giants defender who sacked my beloved third string Colts quarterback Nick Foles, and he landed on the football awkwardly, hurt a rib, and Kayvon Thibodeau was doing snow angels next to him while he's writhing in pain until one of the trainers finally got him out of the way. Oh, hey, a rarely called travel in the NBA. You don't see that every day. Um, oh, Nate, I know you've mastered the art of trash talk. I know that. Or at least you're a Padawan learner if you haven't been knighted yet. Sorry, gang. I'm also a Star Wars nerd, so you'll have to deal with some crossover every once in a while. 10-4. Oh, we got some Stan Van Gundy. I'm gonna have to turn up the TNT broadcast just a tad so I can hear him. Make it. Can I say that I really hate the whole like injecting y- into your arm 3 point celebration? Of all the things, I don't. You want to smoke a three? That's fine, but like, no, I mean, don't be making the kids think it's cool to inject shit into your arms, dude. It doesn't look that cool. Stop it. I'm old. See, this is how I can tell I'm getting old. Nate says John Morant's toughest test won't be this game, but the lawsuit. Yeah, it there's a lot going on there between uh the teenager at the basketball game, and then there was the employee at the shoe store who accused um John Morant and some associates of harassing him. He definitely is going to have some damage control in the off season, but I would like to think that that this was enough for a wake up call. You know, uh, say what you want about the length of his time away and all that stuff. Maybe it wasn't enough to be uh, a real come to Jesus moment. Pardon the phrase, but I don't know. He got pretty close to losing everything, so I imagine they're gonna put some work in the offseason to make sure he gets things back on track. At least, and that's what I hopes for, honestly. Admittedly, selfishly, the dude's a world-class talent. I don't have any ill will towards him. I really hope he gets it figured out. Eh, that kind of shit, there's something going on, right? And I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that, but, there's something that's not. I don't know. I don't wanna just sit here and paint him with a negative brush. So I just hope he gets it figured out, whatever's going on. When you're that rich, you're that wealthy, a lot of people coming at you, with their best interests at heart. So hopefully he's able to surround himself with the right people talk to NBA veterans that have done this before, been there, done that, and get himself set up for success in the future. Oh, let's see. All right, hey, we're in commercials. Let's talk Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, shall we? Let's talk about it. Let me know what you're thinking about A-Rod to the Jets. Where does that put the Packers now with Jordan Love? Nate says my nightmare is finally over. That is worth a laugh, my friend. Um, will the Packers get it done with Jordan Love? Nate seems to think it's over. I wonder if Aaron Rodgers will be enough to make the Jets. I mean, it certainly makes them a playoff. They were already near the playoffs last year, so they have to be an immediate playoff threat, right? With that upgrade, that's what conventional wisdom might say. But let me know what you think. Nate says Lions are the best team in the division. Hmm. Best team in the division. I think we've got some Minnesota fans in the Bite Size Network that might have a word or two with you, Nate. Nate also says the Jets just need a solid game manager with that team. You know, do you think I mean it is a pretty good defense. There's some good backs there. A lot of talent at wide receiver. Game manager. You think they're going to win it all with Trent Dilfer? Like what kind of game manager are we talking about here? But yeah, they don't need I guess essentially what you could be saying, they don't need MVP Aaron Rodgers to win with that team. So he can just kind of play within himself and probably just not cost them games, and they'll probably be in the playoffs, right? As he just goes out and doesn't try to do too much. Let's see. Justin says the Packers got fleeced and the Jets will make the playoffs for sure. I think the Jets will make the playoffs. I think they're solid easily, like we just said, they're solid contention there. The one thing about the Packers trade is if Aaron Rodgers plays at least 65% of the snaps, they will get that 2024 second rounder turned into a first rounder. I'm going to pause really quick here. They're going to talk about John Morant's hand. That is talk about a club. There you go. Darren Fox is over here taking notes, I bet. I mean, completely different injury, but it's like, how they get, like, get some of that padding. All right. So to finish up on that, Nate, Nate says game manager would be an upgrade over the MILF Hunter. That would be I love a good Zach Wilson joke right there. Um, yeah, and then Justin, yeah, so that does make the trade feel a little better, right? Like as long as he plays, they get that second first rounder. So maybe, but yeah, I mean, uh well, only time will tell. It's whatever each team makes out of those draft picks will determine, in my opinion. Hate to say that to Aaron Rodgers at this point, but it's too early to judge the trade. Let's at least see what they get out of the draft. But in a couple of years, we'll definitely be able to tell. But yeah, those conditional picks, as us Colts fans know, they can come back to haunt you when those quarterbacks don't end up playing and you don't get the first rounder or the third rounder that you want. When are they going to put someone out there to guard him? What are the Grizzlies doing? They're just leaving Vanderbilt open in the corner. All right, last bit here on the Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to read the comment here. Nate says, as a Bears fan and a Packers hater, this was a solid trade all around. Only swapped two spots this year, which isn't bad in my opinion. Okay, yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting with it. Like right now, it feels like I'm like, okay, that seems like a fair trade, especially considering you might only get 1 year of Aaron Rodgers. And then again, my logic is that if Aaron Rodgers does play 65% of the snaps, the Jets will probably make the playoffs, so they'll probably justify that second first rounder, and so it seems like a win-win maybe. Um, Yeah, Justin says Philip Rivers in the Hall of Fame. I love that. Trevor says Packers need to make one more move to move from 13 to 9 or 10 for Jackson Smith and Jigba. I like that take. That's an interesting one. Okay. I mean, that dude's a real talent. I think we all know that. I'm sure Nate hates that, and I'm sure I don't know. I'd love to see what Michael thinks of that. I don't know what John, our resident Vikings expert, would love or hate that move. Nate says the Bears aren't trading with the Packers. Full stop. Fair enough. Nate also says I could see the Eagles doing that at 10 for the draft capital, especially if things shook out the way they did in our Bite Size Sports full mock draft. Right? They were sitting there with some interesting developments at 10. They might have been willing to trade back there. I could see that. They have a second pick later in the first round, so they might be more willing than usual to trade back, knowing that they have a second option in the first round. Let's see. Ooh, back to the NBA. I want to read this comment. Justin mentioned his all-time favorites are Allen Iverson and Sean Kemp. I like that. That's a good one. Let me know in the chat what you other guys have. I like the way. Now I don't know that this was done intentionally by Justin, but it just so happened that he picked a guard and a front court player. So let's stick to that. Let me know in the chat, NBA all time, your favorite backcourt and favorite front court player. Nate does not like Sean Kemp only because he went to Concord. Yeah, Nate's deeply rooted in his Indiana high school rivalries. Oh man, if I have to play this game too, this one's going to be tough. Favorite, although I guess I could just cheat if I went backcourt, front court. I could just go Reggie Miller, Larry Bird, because that's technically a shooting guard and a small forward. But that's not quite as fun. So for the sake of the game, I'll go outside of my own personal bias. So I grew up a Pacers fan, and I grew up in a little town not too far from French Lick, Indiana. So we all grew up Larry Bird fans where I came from. So outside of that, I'm gonna think about this for a minute. I'm gonna read what chat has in here. But Nate says, I want to take Jordan, but in all honesty, I'll take Oscar Robertson and Larry Bird. I like it. Very nice. Okay. Yeah. Nate. See, Nate quickly confirms my theory that all us Indiana boys of a certain age are all Larry Bird fans. You know what? So for my front court, give me Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the favorite players I ever had the pleasure of watching with my own eyes, even though I never got to see him live. I could see him, live on television. The footwork, the pivots, the up and unders. I mean, any player at any skill level and honestly at any position, if you want to learn the basic fundamentals of how to get open in the paint and get yourself easy layups, watch Hakeem's tape. I mean, he was an athletic genius as well, and I mean, he great defensive player, blocked a lot of shots. So give me Hakeem as my front court player, and in the back court as much again, and I'm gonna not say Michael Jordan just because he's Michael Jordan. So give me Kobe then for my big fan of watching Kobe Bryant. I mentioned it earlier in the stream. You know how much I love the mid range, and just the evolution of his game. We talk about the two different careers. With the number 8 and with the number 24, he almost had two separate Hall of Fame careers, but he really his game evolved over time, and it was a lot of fun to watch to go from watching that young kid who airballed an important shot in his first ever playoffs to end up being Kobe. You know, it was a lot of fun to watch. I'm blessed in my NBA fanhood to have watched the eras that I got to watch. All of the '90s basically. My first television memory is the NBA finals getting interrupted by OJ Simpson. So that's how long I've been watching the NBA. Really my earliest memories are stuff like it was the 2 seasons where Michael Jordan was out. So I believe there was a Pacers Orlando Magic Eastern Conference Finals that was very competitive that I enjoyed watching, and yeah, watching the Rockets win those back to backs. That's about as early as I started watching it, and then growing up at that point in time, I was in the late to mid 90s, which you would know if you watched the last episode of The Bounce, because I had my 1996 Eastern Conference Champions shirt. I lived in a suburb of Chicago during the second three-peat. So, of course, everyone got swept up in that. And, I kind of started becoming a basketball historian from there, going back, looking at the early 90s finals that I hadn't been able to watch. And when we were teenagers, they had this whole thing called ESPN Classic where you could watch old NBA finals and stuff like that all the time. So now we have YouTube, so we can still do all that. But yeah, I was able to catch up that way. So yeah, I'm just a huge nerd for basketball. So forgive me for taking you down that little tangent. But Nate's honorable mentions would be Dennis Rodman and Manu Ginobili. I like those as well. Justin says Embiid New Age Dream. I like that. Yeah, they do have some great, Embiid has a lot of great footwork, that a lot of moves that do, pardon me, remind me of Hakeem. And he also says Phil Rivers and New Age Dan Marino. Hey, listen, as much as I didn't when Phil Rivers came to the Colts, I was a little upset because I thought he was kind of past his prime. And here we are now with the Colts trying band-aid quarterbacks for several years and it didn't work. But Phil was the best of them. And he got that team to the playoffs. And I will always have a special place in my heart for Pip Rivers. Love the dude, Phil. That's a good question. Let me know in the chat if the rest of you guys think Phil Rivers is Hall of Fame for sure, or if you think he's Hall of Fame, but maybe not first ballot. Let me know. Where do you think? Nate immediately says no. Nate didn't even let me finish the question before he's like, nope. Nate's got that Pip Rivers hatred in his heart. But, oh, what is this? A commercial for AEW. Anybody watch AEW out here? Oh, Trevor says he hated, and I quote, "Crybaby Rivers." We're gonna have, oh man, we've got some cross-platform rivalries building up. We've got a Chargers fan and a Chiefs fan getting ready to go at it. Nate's sparking, adding extra flames to the fire just because he hates Phil Rivers, I guess. Uh, you know, been there. I get it. I love it. Y'all make this a lot of fun when you're hanging out in the chat like this. So I appreciate you. It's great to be back. Did not expect honestly to be going this long, but hey, we're here. I'm not quite tired yet. We're gonna get you at least through till halftime, hanging out, getting you ready for the rest of the week's live streams here on Bite Size Sports. Nate says Philip Rivers needs to attend a health class, and I'll leave it at that. Okay. It's You're talking about the fact that Philip Rivers has a full basketball team roster. Yeah, he's as Nate says, he's trying to be Nick Cannon. He's just contributing to the next generation. Let me put it this way. Now we're going to have probably a second generation Rivers in the NFL. I would like to think, right? He's had enough kids that the odds are that at least one of them is going to play quarterback in the NFL in a few years, right? I would think, right? You know what I'm saying? Phil Rivers Jr. Ooh, here we go. Justin's got some more nominees for favorite NBA players. Let's see. Honorable mention Reggie Miller and Eric Snow. Okay. Yes. Ooh, and he says uh Phil best, yeah, best there besides Luck. Well, except for Peyton. Yeah, of course, but yes, since Luck, Philip Rivers has absolutely been the best quarterback to play in Indianapolis, and it's kind of a bummer for me to say out loud, but it's the truth. Now knock on him. He was just old, but yeah. Ah. Let's see what he says. Don't let me be around. Oh, yeah, that's so funny. We got some friendly banter going on here between the Chiefs fans and the Chargers fans. So I love that. Oh, that's fun. Let's see. Nate says, speaking of basketball, I think the WNBA is kind of on the cusp. That's interesting. I think the women's NCAA tournament helped immensely, and I do agree with you. I don't know what it'd be interesting for us to try to define, what the cusp is, but yeah, I do think they are on the verge of a spike in some viewership. We talked about before with heels and villains, and they have personalities. You have to have characters. The NBA has been pretty good at that. Some of the players just themselves are good at doing it, and we saw it with the national championship in the Final Four this year with the WNBA or with the women's college basketball. So Nate, yeah, I think you're right. We're going to see a lot more interest in the game. I think gambling also helps that. People want to bet on stuff. If it's going to be on TV, they'll watch it. Nate says there need to be better refs in the women's game, though, and that the finals game was garbage. Let me hop back over to our friends on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Lee chimes in. There we go. I love that answer for the two favorite NBA players, Magic and Bird. Absolutely. I love that one. That now some of us in the chat on either side will already know this, but for some of the younger folks that might not, you know, a lot of we owe a lot of this to Magic and Bird. The popularity of the modern game. And it's kind of interesting, it's that in the same instance that we're talking about the WNBA and how this NCAA tournament could contribute to their growth, well, that's exactly what happened with the NBA when Bird and Magic played in the NCAA tournament, and how, that ushered in a new era, a new generation of the NBA that got people excited, that led to the growth and then of course the dream team takes the further step to help take the game global. But yeah, I mean, a great choice there from Lee, because not only could you be hard pressed to find two better players, but then you take the impact they had, being ambassadors for the game, even though that's not what they were just trying to win championships. But that was the secondary impact. Ooh, that Kennard does not get that off in time, man. If LeBron had hit that one, this roof would have jumped. So the Lakers, the 14-5 run to end the first. Let me know, how are you feeling now? I'm not going to overreact because Milwaukee led and won each of the first three periods in the game that they ultimately lost. So, but those who were saying the Lakers could go up 3-1 here, looking pretty good after that run. Oh, let's see. I got this is some low blow here, Justin. Chiefs fans make me laugh. They're like Warriors fans. I never heard of them until the rings came. I don't know if that's true in Trevor's case, but I will say the when teams get popular, this happened a lot with the Patriots. I live in Columbus, Ohio. Nate says go Raiders. Yeah, we need someone's got to represent Sean B in here. I don't think we have any Broncos fans though, so just let's ride. So living in Columbus, it was insane the number of Patriots fans that just kind of cropped up out of nowhere in the Midwest in Ohio during that particular decade. It was like, oh, that's cool. You're a Patriots fan, huh? Like you see it too. I grew up with a lot of Cowboys fans from Ohio, because why? Because they were the team in the 90s. See, you do see some Broncos fans around here for the same reason, because they had those back-to-back titles in the late 90s when people my age were about 10. It's pretty formative. You want to be like John Elway and Terrell Davis. They're on the cover of the video games. Let's see. Bob Pettit. Ooh, there we go. Bob Pettit. Pettit was good, but no one remembers him. Lee, I might be one of the few folks here on this chat that you could talk about that stuff with. I do love, and honestly, it's I can thank video games for that as well. Both NBA Live and 2K have done a really great job, in my opinion, of preserving history by giving you these classic teams to play with, that allow you to kind of revisit some of those classic teams that otherwise people wouldn't get. You know, they had the '50s, the all decades team of the '50s and the '60s, and then eventually that would grow into having all of these different classic teams. But yeah, I it's fun. It's unfortunate the forgotten era. I get very frustrated when I hear guys like JJ Redick say that Bob Cousy played against plumbers, because all you have to do is watch the tape for yourself to see that Bob Cousy was something special. It's very irritating to me, some of the disrespect that the older generations of basketball get. There was a lot of moves that are now legal that weren't legal back then. That also has a lot to do with the way people were able to score points. Not to mention there was no 3-point line, stuff like that, no shot clock. So of course the numbers are going to translate much differently. But yeah, I think we all have. There's a lot of good stuff to watch. I know Nate mentioned Oscar Robertson. There's a lot of stuff from those early eras, that a lot of great basketball to be watched. Havlicek stole the ball. No, and back to the football, back to the Chiefs. There were a lot of bad years in there. Yeah, the oh man, what we had some Trent Green years. I remember Elvis Gerbach, which I can't, back then that was probably when before Peyton Manning, the Colts had Jim Harbaugh was the best quarterback since Johnny Unitas. So we all have our down years. Now that's what I wonder about these Packers. I can relate. Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, hello Cliff, we fall off. The Packers go from Brett Favre, questionable human being, Hall of Fame talent, to Aaron Rodgers, questionable mental decisions, incredible arm talent, likes to hang out in caves and do ayahuasca. That's cool, whatever. Um, what is what is going to be the the difference here? I know the other I found it odd that Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets. If I was Aaron Rodgers, I would have gone anywhere but New York. You already got all those weird connections. Get me out of here. Quit comparing me to Brett Favre if I'm Aaron Rodgers. But ooh, yes. No, I love that too. Yeah, and I love to see it here in the chat. We got Justin says all love, man. Yeah, it's we encourage that here at Bite Size Sports. I think a good bit of trash talking is always fun, as long as we keep it respectful. We have fun with each other, which you guys did. I appreciate you both for that. Um, very cool. It's always a fun time. And then he talks about James Worthy, Daryl Dawkins, Kevin McHale. Yeah, Bill Lambier. Love the 80s. Yeah, Nate also in here says grew up in the 80s. Um, my uncle from the middle of nowhere. Oh, this is what he's saying. My uncle from the middle of nowhere, Southern Indiana, is a Yankees and 49ers fan. Grew up in the 80s. Yep. See, exactly. That's what happens. It's you have a lot of those. Like, well, those are the talented teams, the popular ones at the time. Now we have the internet, so small market teams uh, can get fans, or the Houston Rockets can become a global brand because of Yao Ming and stuff like that. So, but that wasn't the case 40 years ago. So it would be just the teams that you'd see in the playoffs or in the championships. Those would be the ones you'd see. So yeah, you have the Niners going to however many Super Bowls they went to in the 80s, and it makes sense, I guess. More people will root for them. Plus they had Joe Montana. How you root against that guy? Let's see. We got 10 minutes left here in the second half. Give me your predictions for this game. We won't watch it all the way till the end here, as much as I would love to hang out with y'all. That will run us up to the wee hours of the morning here on the East Coast. And as I've mentioned, we've got a handful of streams coming up for you this week. So I've got to fire up some lozenges after this, make sure my throat doesn't get too hoarse. Was LeBron gonna pull this here? Ooh, the double screen from Reeves. Oh, was that a push off? It looked, the crowd really liked it. It looked pretty, but it could have been a push off. Justin also points out, have the internet so wannabe fans can look up team history. Hey, but you also, that's fair. You get the people who are really high on the stat analysis or something that would just. I know some friends who gamble that way, that they just kind of look at the guy's last 10 games without any context and say, "Oh, for sure he's gonna hit the over," not knowing anything about who might be guarding him that night or anything like that, where it's sorta like, "Ooh, that's not gonna cut it." If you're gonna wanna actually try to make money, you're gonna wanna know if that guy you just bet to score over 25 points is playing against one of the top 3 defenders in the league tonight, and maybe it's not a good idea to take that bet. Ooh, a travel. Nate says Grizz win by at least 5. So he says take your spread and double it. I think, nah, the Lakers are 5-point favorites. Nah, nah, nah. Nate says give me the Grizz by 5 or more. I dig it. I dig the confidence. Ooh, Schroeder. Doubtful no longer. Nice finish there. Let's see. Going into the timeout here. Whoo! I love a little teardrop floater like that. One of my favorites. Who had a good floater back in the day? Back in the day when I was playing hoop at the Y, my man Justin Herbert had a nice floater. You guys you guys over there on playback TV and some of you watching on YouTube didn't have a chance to see it the way I did, but man had a solid floater. You get in there amongst the trees, as they say. Nice little teardrop floater from Justin, who says, "They hurt my soul when Phil Rivers." He's the Steve Nash of the NFL. Oh, that could this funny thing is depending on who's talking, that could be also taken as a compliment or a slight, right? Like, I hear you say that, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, Steve Nash, dope. Love it." But also, I'm a guy who thinks that Steve Nash, at least one of his MVPs, probably should have gone to somebody else, but voter fatigue is an unfortunate, reality in the NBA. Never could get a ring, but great. Yeah, I mean, those Chargers teams were something, man. What an enigma. Because sometimes they'd have what was that one year they had the best offense and the best defense in the NFL? And then just something would always happen, man. What do they call it? Marty Ball? Marty Schottenheimer? You guys would just have some dominant regular seasons. And then, yeah, just the Hall of Fame talent with Gates and LaDainian Tomlinson. Like, yeah, you can't. I won't deny it. At least you guys put some squads together for sure. Nate says, but the worst special teams. Yes, and yes, yeah, Justin had that floater. Yep, exactly, exactly. He'd get down there in the paint. 2006, 14 and 2. That's right. Oh man, that one hurts. It's probably about that one hurts the way the Saints Super Bowl over the Colts hurts me. It's like if one dude could have just held on to the onside kick that hit him in the chest and hands, or if Reggie Wayne hadn't fallen down on that slant route. Oh, what might have been, what might have been. My goodness. What is this commercial? Is this a podcast with Ernie and Chuck? I don't like to promote other people's podcasts that aren't on our network. No, that's not true, but I feel bad, but I'm sitting here watching an episode or an ad for this Steam Room podcast, and I'm like, "Yo, let's go." Nate would have held OJ Mayo in check, huh? I forgot about OJ Mayo. Man, that dude had some skill. McDonald's All American. Where'd he go? USC. That was a dude. Nate Kading. Oh, it's funny. I do love we've got a we've got a dynamic chat going. We've got Nate talking about OJ Mayo playing in the Egyptian League on playback, and then we've got reminiscent NFL posts about the Chargers going on our YouTube chat. I love it. Or on Facebook. I love it. And then we got Lee coming in here on YouTube saying, I have a C note that says Packers win as many games this coming year as last. I like that take. I think Nate might be shook at that one. What do you think, Nate? You think they'll win as many games? I I happen to know if Michael Allen were here, he would be saying that he has all the faith in Jordan Love, that Jordan Love is going to be that third in the long line of Packers quarterbacks. You know, he's not going to be the first in a long line of band-aid quarterbacks like the Colts had to deal with once they had their second Hall of Famer out of town. Nate says the Packers will win 7 games, and Packers fans minus Michael need knock down a peg. That's funny. I yes, yeah, there we go. I like it. Now Justin takes a step further and says Chargers versus Packers in the Super Bowl. Look at that. Well, I can tell you one thing. The Indianapolis Colts won't be in the Super Bowl, so I got no horse in this race. So we'll go with that. Let's go with Chargers Packers. I'm cool. Nate, I'm legit so tired of dealing with this. What do you do? What part are you tired of dealing with the Packers having a great quarterback? Is that the part? Or just Packers fans? Oh, I love it, folks. We've had some of the best NFL rivalries represented in this episode. We've got an AFC West banter fest, and now the NFC North is getting chilly. Nate says, I will say if Jordan Love is another Hall of Fame talent, I will never watch the NFL again. Oh, and then Justin is worried that his Chargers are going to blow a big lead in the Super Bowl. Hey, yeah, yeah. Don't go full Atlanta. Don't worry, Nate. It's all right. I knew what you meant. Why is there going to be a Chipotle ad? It's too late for me to eat that. Can I get like parental locks on my ads that will say after 11 you're not allowed to show my fat ass any fast food advertisements? It's unhealthy, man. I'm about to DoorDash as soon as we get to halftime now. Y'all let me know what your favorite late night DoorDash is. Nate says, shouldn't Justin be studying the playbook and not talking smack on a feed? Yes. Yes, the one and only Justin Herbert is in our chat, by the way. But I don't think he needs to study the playbooks. I think he's got them down. Let me know. Let me know, Justin. I think he's probably good. He's probably, you know what I bet he's doing? He's probably got some old Madden set up on an emulator on the PS2. This dude's out here probably creating new plays. You remember that? You remember how cool Madden used to be when you had training camp and you could actually create playbooks and all kinds of stuff? Wouldn't it be nice if they just offered things that they had on games 3 systems ago? Ooh, yeah, Justin's he's got Kellen Moore now. He's good. You know, and I'm glad to hear you say that, Justin, because I've taken a lot of heat on different programs for representing Kellen Moore and saying that I think he's a decent offensive coordinator. You know, I think he's got a still has a bright future in this league. Yeah, not everybody hits a nobody hits 1,000. You know, not every season is going to be great. And Nate agrees. Hey, here we go. He's got a soft spot for Kellen since he's a Boise State fan. And maybe that's what it is for me too, Nate. Maybe it's just a complete bias of the uh the good times, all the memories we had with Kellen Moore as one of our favorite indie darlings in the college football world. Boise. Oh man, the blue turf. That was something else. Remember Jared Zabransky? Was it Ian Johnson with the Statue of Liberty play? Man, fun times. Oh, that was called a take foul, huh? What's the rule? Oh, yeah, we got Boise State, San Diego State. Justin's thoughts on Kellen Moore: "When you have to take a backdoor to Mike McCarthy, anyone will be overlooked." Yeah, that is funny. Um, oh, I didn't know that. Nate's also excited for Robert Tonyan. He played in the Robert Tonyan played at Indiana State. Is that a real thing? That's interesting. I didn't know that. What is or is Indiana State Division 1 or Division 2, Nate? They're the FCS. Speaking of old video games, that was one of my favorite, I think it was NCAA '07. I would pull the Sycamores up to Division 1, throw them in the MAC conference. What a great pass from John Morant, and then just a better block from LeBron. Wow. Ooh, air ball from Ja. Maybe that has something to do with his hand there. Don't forget, guys, you can join our Discord to hang out. I am going to once again throw a comment here on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube to invite you all and come join the conversation. We talk like this almost every night, talking baseball, basketball, football, racing. We sponsor an iRacing team that just got ourselves a dub, I believe, at Talladega, right, Nate? We got that W at Talladega, the number 9 bite-sized sports car. If it exists in the sports world, we're talking about it. And that includes Bader Ball, which is 3-on-3 MMA basketball. So, yeah, look that up. If you don't know what that is, you can learn about it by watching highlights with me over on the Bite Size Sports YouTube channel. We did that one not too long ago. Ooh, what a block from LeBron. Another one. And he hits him with the Dikembe, the finger waggle, which is something I would not want to try to say 10 times fast. Nate says they play in the Missouri Valley as long as they are in a conference with North Dakota State and South Dakota State, they will never be successful. Yeah, and he did confirm that we did win our race at Talladega, home of the Giddy Horn, as he said. You might want to look that one up. All gas, no brakes, baby. Man, Anthony Davis with the block. The defensive effort here from LA has been impressive. Even LeBron on that one, full contesting. The Lakers are playing with energy. You know what's frustrating? If the Lakers had played with this energy in game 2 of the series, this would be over. Um, they came out when Ja was hurt expecting to win. They came out flat and they didn't play well at all. And if they had just matched the energy the way they are now, whew, we'd be done. We'd be looking at a gentleman's sleep. Gentleman's sweep. Oh, LeBron. He gets he gets so fired up about these, man. I love it. I can't talk too much. I used to get that fired up about an intramural bad call. Are you kidding me? This is my life. 1 second, guys. Sorry, I gotta send a message out here. Forgive me. Almost 2 hours straight here on the live. I don't send this text back, someone's gonna put out an Amber Alert for me. Did he touch it? I don't I don't know. I don't know about that. I think it's yep. Damn it, Stan, you took mine. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Lakers ball. You can definitely see that Reeves didn't touch it. Nate says it's honestly interesting to see how the play-in teams have looked. Yeah, right. With Miami potentially pulling this upset. Now we've got LA here in position to also put themselves up 3-1. I think Denver's in control with Minnesota. So they extended they'll at least get the gentleman's sweep with Minnesota. They decided not to get swept. But and then what is I think Atlanta's done, but you know, DeAndre Hunter looked great last night. Good to see that starting to happen. Welcome, welcome. We got some new viewers over on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, if you have a cable login, you can watch the game with us live over on Playback TV at playback.tv/bite size sports. And if you're new, you check out our comment. We've got an invite to our Discord where we can hang out, talk shop. Let's see, Tuesday, game 5, 7:30. Boston, Atlanta. That's something we can look at. Let's look at the Tuesday slate while these guys debate this endlessly. It's really hard to tell if he touched it or not. Let's look at the Tuesday schedule and see what picks we might want to make. Boston's got the 3-1 lead. I think they're going to ice it. That's my opinion. Yeah. Nate says T Wolves and Hawks have looked like booty hole, but have pulled some out. Yeah, yeah, not great. Yeah, so we've got Minnesota at Denver. I think we're wow. I wouldn't be surprised. No clear conclusive evidence. Yeah, that's. I mean, that's a bummer. It, there, he's right. There's not conclusive evidence either way, but you're not gonna like it as the coach or the player for sure. We got 3 different 3-1 matchups tomorrow, so it's very possible if it goes the way Nate suggests here, Celtics, Nuggets, and Suns all winning, we could put a bow on 3 series all in one night. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with Nate on his take there? I'm going to take the Clippers to win one, so give me Boston and Denver ending their series, but I think the Clippers are gonna make the Suns play one more. What let me know what you guys think. Over on Facebook, Justin says it's definitely interesting that playing teams aren't looking too bad. Hope Atlanta can squeak one more if the rest yeah, so that Embiid can get more rest. Absolutely. Yeah, Sixers fans like Justin are watching that one in hopes that Atlanta is able to extend the series because yeah, the more time that Embiid can get closer to 100%, the better. So I'm going to ask this one, Justin. You'll probably be the most interested in answering it, but this is for everyone. I just earlier today published a article written by one of the great writers over at Last Word on Sports that talked about how Paul Reed was likely going to be the starter until Embiid gets back to 100%. So, Justin, my question for you is: do you like that move? Should it be Paul? Is there someone else? What do they have? Trez Harrell out there, right? Is it Dwayne? Do they have Dwayne Dedman out there? Are there any other options at center that you think should be starting if Embiid has to miss time? Or is Reed the best option? Because it looked like he kind of put it together there in that last game. She's got a 14-point Laker lead. There's 6.5 minutes left in this one. Let's see. Everyone, Justice says everyone seems to chime in on my team. So, question for everyone. LOL. Yeah, exactly. Of course, they're gonna say something anyway, so might as well open it up for everybody. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, so we got a 14-point game here, 6.5 minutes left. We will be saying goodnight here at halftime, folks. So I hope you can hang out with us and enjoy the rest of this first half. I won't be live on playback during the games tomorrow because we have our Necessary Roughness squad going live on our YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So join Nick and John and Michael, and I think they're going to have a guest. So definitely want to check that out. And as well as I will be live on the Hall About Sports podcast with host Megan Hall. She's got a couple of guests. I think we got 3 guests on that show as well. So it's going to be an NFL night tomorrow night. Look out for that. And then we will be right back with the bounce Wednesday night. Now, I don't know. I won't put James on the hook for this, but I might go straight from the bounce studio on Wednesday night to come hang out with you guys to put a wrap on whatever late game is there on Wednesday because we already record until about 10:30 anyway. So let's see. Looks like we got some folks back over on Facebook. Justin says, I love Paul Reed. He's the man at the backup. Trez is lost and Deadman's there's anything serious happens. Yeah. Yeah. Deadman, I didn't think would probably be an option, but it did get mentioned in the article that I published. Kind of exactly the way you put it, Justin. Is like, and Dwayne Dedman is there if we need him. Nate says the Sixers are going to be way too rested. I don't know. I don't know. I think they Embiid needs it in this case, right? And then let's see. Herbert says, Justin says, Paul Reed is learning a lot from PJ Tucker, as he stated, and Paul compliments the team well when he gets the board and he gets the board every time. And he's very active. Yeah. And I think Doc Rivers was saying some stuff about that too, that in previous instances that playing Paul with PJ hadn't worked, but that it seemed that they had found something together in that last one. And that's another thing. You mentioned PJ in a small ball lineup, he can play the 5 if you need him to. Like I said, if you're in the small enough lineup, he is definitely an impactful rebounder and defensive player. So as long as he's not completely mismatched in the size department, he can get you some minutes at that position. Great finish by LeBron, who does the how did I not get the foul dance? I love it. Um Yes, it is. Yeah, I agree with Justin on that one. That I think the Sixers need the rest, but um, maybe Nate thinks they're gonna sit too long. I don't know. If everyone was healthy, I can agree. That's what I will say. There is some truth to getting cold, sitting for too long. But when you've got injuries to deal with, you'll take that, right? You'll take. So for instance, think about it this way: would you trade off one game of rust for your best player being 100%? That's kind of the way I would look at it. He might not be 100%, but it's sort of like, would you rather have more Embiid or have everybody else be firing on all cylinders? And your answer might be different just depending on your approach, but that's just kind of how I would look at it in this situation. Austin Reeves did not get fouled. Checks notes. Apparently he did not get fouled on that one. They're always doing that weird arm thing. It's so the celebrations are goofy. I mean, I can't cast stones there. I did some dumb stuff as a teenager when I was celebrating made threes. So who am I to disagree? Nate says, think it's more of an issue in the NFL, but I think there's too much rest. Now, Reeves with a nice finish. Now, I'd love to say that. Justin, they just signed Roy Hibbert. Back to Nate's talk about the too much rest. Now, I'd love to hear you expand on the too much in the NFL problem, as looks like Anthony Davis took one to the groin. Interesting. Both players thought they got fouled there. That one's interesting. Um, yeah, so Nate thinks, it's more of an issue in the NFL. I definitely think it's a big issue in the NBA. That's why they just added that, stipulation that in order to be eligible for a an award, you have to at least play 65 games or something, which I don't think solves anything. I think, maybe just getting rid of back-to-backs, I think there's a lot to suggest that the more you rest, the more likely you are to get hurt because you're not staying in game shape. You're not like, obviously you don't want too much wear and tear, but to get your body at complete rest and then, like that's not good either to just be going from 0 to 100 constantly. That's going to have negative impacts on you as well. So I do think there's a big problem with rest. I think the league is aware of it. I think it's something that people cry out about a lot over the past few years, and I think the NBA will figure it out, but it's probably still going to take a few years to be honest. And let's see. Nate says that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Yeah, the Roy Hibbert. Uh, what could have been? Let's see. People rest in the NBA for leverage. That's why people are out with load management all the time. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's and it sometimes what's funny is there are also times where the front office makes the decision where I can't remember if it was Paul George or Kawhi or what the situation was, but I found it interesting. There was a situation where one of these players that I often see, with a lengthy injury history that doesn't play, that never plays the second half of back to backs. And I want to, I'm gonna give Paul George the credit, but just know that it might have been someone else. Uh, Said basically, I want to be out there. I wanted to play, but it's not part of the front office's plans. That I have to sit out. It's better for the big picture if I sit out these games. And I wonder how long it will take for those opinions to change because obviously there's the whole fan aspect of it where you have people who get upset that, oh, what if this family of four spent all their money to go see LeBron play in Minnesota and then he decides to sit that game out. That's a whole different can of worms, but I think as far as winning basketball and actually looking at player safety, I think even for that alone, I still think the rest is a net negative for the league. Um, and they will have to figure something else out. Let's see. Nate says, fun question before this wraps up. Where do you think the NBA expands when they do go to 32? I love this question, Nate. Thank you so much for that. It's a fun one. I'm going to let chat go at it for a second, guys. I have actually given my answer not too long ago to this one. So I don't want to steal it. So I want to give you guys the opportunity. I will just say, the theme for me this episode has been history, right? I love sports history. So I'll give you that might give you a clue as to where at least one of my because I would do it this way. I would say we should add if you're gonna add two, you add one in the West, one in the East. So you can probably guess who my Western Conference edition might be, based on those hints I just gave you. Justin says Vegas for sure. And Nate says that's interesting feedback. Personally, I think the NBA is too late for Vegas. I do think Vegas is up there. I wonder if it'll be at 32 or because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I can see expansion. 2K gives you up to 6 teams to expand in the NBA. I could see expansion going beyond 2 teams. I don't think they would do more than 2 teams at once, mind you. I think they have to do 2 teams to keep things even, but I don't think they do more than two at once. So I think they still could have a shot with Vegas. Maybe maybe it won't be expansion. Maybe someday it'll be another, franchise has to move and the next one that moves to Vegas. But I do believe we'll have an NBA team in Vegas at some point. Whether or not it's a lasting success is another thing, but I think there's some possibility there. And ooh, Justin says Indianapolis. Yeah. Yeah, we don't have a good basketball team there. Um, Nate says Vegas isn't a huge metropolitan area, so that's sort of his knock against the Vegas idea. So I haven't said it yet, so I'll tell you guys. I would be the Indianapolis Tropics. I would bring the Seattle Supersonics back. That would be the first on my agenda for expansion. I think if the NBA expands, it needs to go back to Seattle. I think there's been a lot of work from some former NBA greats, and unfortunately, it was a tournament where Chet Holmgren got injured, but they do a lot of pro am stuff in Seattle. Those buildings are full every time. Seattle misses their basketball team. I think they would solve whatever attendance, whatever issues that caused them to leave in the first place, I think could be solved for this time around. And then just because if I'm going to be just personal about it, obviously you see my Montreal Expos hat. So give me my Eastern Conference team being a team in Montreal, although I don't think that realistically that doesn't work at all. It's going to be like Baltimore or Pittsburgh or something like that. Uh, let's see. Nate says it's already crowded in there with the NFL. Yeah, in Vegas. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I like it. Justin agrees with me to bring back the Supersonics. Much appreciated. And let's see. Nate says my choice would have been Seattle and either Pittsburgh or St. Louis. I like that. Now I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys here. And this is another thing that I've done in some of my expansions where I have added Seattle and Vegas. And then through a realignment of the conferences, I moved the Memphis Grizzlies to the Eastern Conference, where one could argue they rightfully belong anyway. Um, Memphis is further east, I think, than several teams that currently play in the East. So, in theory, you could do something like that. You could add two West Coast teams to the NBA and just realign Memphis. And there is precedent. This has happened in the NBA before. The Milwaukee Bucks used to be a Western Conference team, so it doesn't happen very often, but it's not unheard of. And like I said, travel wise, it probably could make some sense. Although I know they're in like the southern region, so they're not too, whatever, the Southwest. They're not too far out of, it's America, whatever. Everything's a flight, but that could be an option. I'd love to see Memphis in the East. Make things really interesting too. Playoff seeding, right? Yeah, it's right. Threw a Tim Wakefield knuckleball at us. I try. I try. Memphis gets kicked to the east. I Is it a kick though? I just think it I think about the depth overall to the league then at that point. You're just adding another play perennial playoff team to the East. I just, I'm sure a lot of people would be upset by it. Don't get me wrong. It's probably not what's gonna happen, but I would love that. Although Minnesota would pitch a fit to be in the Central, right? Let's go. Let's just keep adding more teams to the West and then move Minnesota and and Memphis into the Eastern Conference. Oh, okay. I like that take. Nate says Minnesota would be a better cultural fit in the East. Do you mean that in like in the basketball sense or just in general about Minnesota feeling more like a East Coast city? Let me know. And here we are, 12 seconds left in the half. The Lakers have a 5-point lead. I want to thank all of you for watching with us. Wow, big shot. Now it's a 2-point lead. Uh, Let me know. Last question for all of you. Thank you so much for those of you who have liked and given us some love on Facebook. Our viewers on Twitch, I appreciate you as well. YouTube, all of it. I thank you all so much. You've contributed. We've had a lively chat both on playback, Facebook, YouTube. So much. Thank you so much, Justin, Nate, Trevor, Lee, Michael, everyone who's been in the chat, Zach, everyone who has given us a thumbs up. We really appreciate you here, Bite Size Sports. Thanks for the fun back and forth. last prediction. Let me know who you think wins this game. There's a 2-point Laker lead going into half. Once again, much appreciation. Go ahead and give us a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We've got live streams coming the next 3 days. NFL, Necessary Roughness tomorrow, NBA, The Bounce Wednesday, and right back here for the NFL draft on Playback TV and YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So I'll hang out here for a couple more minutes, read some final chats before we say our final goodbyes. But thank you once again for everybody who watched. Let's see. What's the chat got to say? Justin says, all love to everyone in the chat. God bless. Thank you again, Justin, for tuning in. He picks the Grizzlies. Nate says, is this where you play the Semisonic song? Yep. Closing time. P.S. Phil Rivers' first ballot. There we go. That's the best way to end it right there. Once again, I'm sorry I say thank you too many times, but I'm very, very appreciative of you all taking this time out of your day to spend it with us. So thanks again. Come see us again later this week. We will be here a ton. Until next time, take care. Talk soon.